And because of those rainfall predictions, officials, they're not mincing words about the dangers ahead.
CBS's Laura Podesta joins us now live. And Laura, still, some people are choosing to ride out the storm. What is their reasoning and what is the message from officials?
Hi, Russ and Karen. Well, one homeowner who spoke to CBS mentioned that he was fearful of the looters and the people after the storm, not so much the storm itself. And he said that was one reason he was choosing to ride the storm out. But clearly, that is not what's recommended by emergency officials. As one put it, this storm is biblical, it's ominous, and many coastal towns are under mandatory evacuation orders. I think the most important outcome to emphasize is that when a person does choose not to leave, they end up needing help, and then they're putting that first responder's life in jeopardy along with their own. So while there is still time, officials are telling people it is time to leave. Back to you.
And Laura, President Trump says that the White House is ready for what's expected to be a catastrophic event. Tell us more about that.
Yes, well, President Trump, he's been tweeting. He tweeted early this morning that we're ready for the big one that's coming, is what he said. He mentioned that the U.S. government received A+ for its efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Hurricane Irma in Florida last year. The president has said in the last few days that federal resources will be made available to the people affected by Hurricane Florence, and that he is in touch with the governors of the states of North and South Carolina and Virginia in order to coordinate that federal aid. Russ and Karen.
Laura Podesta, live for us this morning. Thank you so much, Laura.
And Jeff Jameson, this is not a storm that people along the Carolinas and Virginia should take lightly.
Yeah, it's going to be a historical storm. There's no doubt about it. And no two storms are alike. So even though we are comparing to Harvey, it's similar in that it's going to slow down and dump lots of rain. As Jeff Ray mentioned, the topography and the different terrain there in North Carolina will cause different results, and in some cases could cause worse results because of the mountain flooding and the coastal flooding. So let's take a look at what's going on right now with Florence. We have maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour in this storm. It's still well over 500 miles southeast of Cape Fear, North Carolina. The more sure part of this forecast is over the next 48 hours, because we have little doubt this storm is going to continue to move toward North Carolina or northern coast of South Carolina. But what happens as this approaches the coast Friday morning, it kind of stalls, and some of the computer models bring it down along the down along the Atlantic coast of South Carolina. Some of the computer models continue to move it west into the mountains of North Carolina. Regardless, the slow movement is going to dump tremendous amounts of rain in this area. And if the storm parallels the coast, that means the storm surge will continue possibly all the way through the weekend. So the tropical storm watches and warnings, the hurricane watches and warnings are out most, if not all, of North Carolina's coast under a hurricane warning at this point. Storm surge warnings are also in effect for that same general area. Again, we could be talking about up to a 15-foot storm surge, 13 to 15-foot storm surge with this, and that is going to cause catastrophic flooding along the coast. And then you add to that the rainfall amounts, and Jeff pointed this out. Now, some of the computer models show the higher rainfall amounts farther inland into the mountains of North Carolina. Right now, it looks like the most likely areas of getting 20 to 30 inches of rain will be along the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina.